Since the Hogwarts Legacy reveal trailer, there have been nearly over a dozen new hidden Easter eggs that have been found. Hiding right inside the most recent trailer, there are clues to a more exact time period, theories about who the current headmaster could be, and the possibility of seeing a young Albus Dumbledore in the future. If you've seen the last video I did on Hogwarts Legacy, then you know I'm a huge Harry Potter fan, and so digging through these Easter eggs, facts, and theories, and bringing them to you has been a load of fun, but it takes a lot of work and time. So, if you like this content, cast your best subscription charm and apparate your finger to the like button so that I can reach more people. But without any more chitter chatter, let's get into it. The first item on our list today might be somewhere between an Easter egg and a developer oversight. Avalanche, the developer of Hogwarts Legacy, has been very hush-hush over the actual date in the game. Part of that to avoid a clash between this and the main canon, and also so that you are the hero, the only one, and you're not outshined by other wizards in the era. But early on in the trailer, we actually see a newspaper dated September 1st, 1890. Now, this has a few more applications to what this means for the story, and I'll mention that later in the video, but September 1st isn't all that surprising. That's the first day of school at Hogwarts, but the year is really important to the story. One of the biggest things is that several key characters in the main series canon that are just being born or are very young and could see themselves making an appearance in future titles. Next, several people have noticed these green flames littered throughout the trailer. I don't blame you if you didn't see this in the original reveal trailer. I didn't either. They're fairly easy to miss, but there are several of them and they appear to have very similar color and size throughout the castle. What has been circulating online the most is that these could actually be flue powder stations. Traditionally, when one uses flue powder in the Harry Potter universe, they stand in an open fireplace, but this could be some artistic license from the developers, if this is the case, to make it easier to see and locate from a gameplay standpoint. We know already that the game is going to be fairly large, allowing us to explore inside and outside the castle, so some kind of fast travel is going to be essential to navigating such a massive area. Honestly, I will probably be having too much fun with my broomstick to ever use it, but it's a nice touch if it is the case. One of the creatures I didn't mention in my Everything You Need to Know About Hogwarts Legacy video was Thestrals, because there's an interesting mechanic with them in the main canon and I wanted to give them a bit of their own segment. A prominent feature of Hogwarts in the main series are the carriages that appear to be pulling themselves as they take students up to the school from the train. Harry finds out that those who have personally witnessed death are the only ones who can see these fantastic beasts. That said, they have an appearance in the trailer in front of the player anyway, and you can interact with them. What this means is the tragic reality that the player character has at one point seen death. Now, this raises a lot more questions than it answers. I mean, could it relate to why you're joining as a fifth year at the school? Are you possibly an orphan that was sent there after the passing of your parents? Who knows, but it does raise some really interesting questions about the history of the player and what story they have to tell in this new game. Moving on to another dark portion of the game trailer, it was revealed that the player can actually use the spell Avada Kedavra. This has sparked a lot of comments online saying that there will actually be a choice for the player to choose good or evil, and there may be a few Easter eggs to support that claim. First of all, and most obvious, is the actual reveal of the killing curse performed by the protagonist. But another very subtle detail in the combat may reveal something about the movement spell that we see. For a second, just a second, we see the player rush forward in a flurry of light. For anyone that has seen the movies, you know that Aurors and members of the Order of the Phoenix have a similar effect when they apparate in or are locked in magical combat. Likewise, those that are users of the dark arts, like the Death Eaters, have a similar cloud but in black. Even further than that though, could be a hint given in the skill cards shown. In the talent point menu, we are shown 5 cards, but in the trailer, there are only 3 cards revealed with labels, being the Room of Requirement, Stealth, and Core. But there are 2 other cards shown, one with a blue background and a sun symbol, and the other with a red background with a wizard wearing a hood. Again, it wasn't revealed in the trailer what these could represent, but it may be related to either light or dark talents. Elsewhere in the trailer, we are given a foreboding warning.
Be careful where you choose to explore, as it may lead you down a darker path.
Further hinting at a possible storyline where you have the ability to choose which path to follow. The sorting ceremony in the upcoming game isn't too unusual as seen in the trailer. We know that before you're actually sorted, you'll have the option for some character creation, which inherently is super cool and I can't wait to see more of that and try it out in game. But for this video, I actually want to focus on a character that isn't right and center, this guy. Now, there is some speculation about the official date of course, as we mentioned before, but if that newspaper talked about earlier is to be believed, then this means this man has to be Headmaster Phineas Nigellus Black. We can predict this because in the main series, Phineas was the headmaster from sometime after 1876 when he took over from Eupraxia Mole until his death in 1925. Phineas has several connections to the main Harry Potter series, but most famously being Sirius Black's great-grandfather, and his portrait can also be seen in Dumbledore's office. Based on what we've seen in the movies and the man in game, it's fair to assume that this is none other than Phineas Nigellus Black. As a side note, he is remembered as one of the most hated headmasters, and honestly, he hated the position he was carrying himself. So it wouldn't be surprising if he was quite a bit different than the caring, wise headmasters that we're used to. I mean, look at that face. Come on. Number 6 on our list is about the presumably primary antagonist, Ranrock the Goblin. In the trailer, we briefly see an encounter between him, Elazar Fig, and the protagonist, where he seems to absorb a spell and then redirect it. Kind of reminds me of Yoda absorbing Dooku's Force Lightning in the Clone Wars. But anyways, what's really interesting about this is the fact that he's always wearing some kind of metal armor that he seems to absorb that magic with. In the same scene, his goons are not wearing that same armor, so it may be fair to assume that it's some kind of special design for him, allowing him greater power. In Harry Potter, goblins are known for their ability to work metal, specifically with the Sword of Gryffindor, which is goblin made and has the ability to absorb energy and make itself stronger. Just like how after Harry fought the basilisk, the toxic basilisk venom properties were absorbed to allow the sword to destroy Horcruxes. His armor could very well be the reason that Ranrock has gained so much prestige and power during this time period. And since we see the Gringotts minecart, I'm excited to learn more about the goblins and how their conflict influences the story. Now, I wanted to save this last one for the end because there is a large amount of speculation surrounding it, but there is an interesting interaction that may occur, if not in this game, definitely in future titles. Now, Avalanche hasn't announced any future games in the Hogwarts Legacy lineup, but assuming this game does well, and if the hype online is any indication that it will, since you as the player are only in your 5th year, it could mean that there are sequels that could follow this game. The most interesting thing about this is that if the game starts in 1890, that means that in just 2 years, a very young Albus Dumbledore will be starting school in 1892. As I've said before, the developers purposely chose this time period so that you could be the main hero and the main focus of the game, and I don't think they ever want to take that away. However, since they have kept the continuity of the series canon so far, it is likely that there may be a few cameos of famous wizards. Who knows? Maybe we'll even get to see a brief appearance of Gellert Grindelwald in the future. Hey there, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like and share with your friends and family, share on Facebook, Twitter, all the things, and we'll see you in the next one.